Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle. Thanks so much for watching us. Money can't buy him love. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Happy International Migrants Day. Now, this is a big day for the Biden administration, which is in the deliberate process of remaking America by facilitating the relocation of, only 10 million people here and counting. Now, the ultimate open borders champion, Tony Blinken, he released a statement today actually bragging about their record, saying that the United States has led the largest expansion in decades of lawful migration pathways to help vulnerable migrants, refugees, and other displaced persons. And they're not even trying to hide the fact that this is just the beginning of their efforts to resettle America. They want to promote inclusion to expand ways for people to migrate here and also globally. Now, of course, the left refuses to see illegal immigration as a problem, despite what the polls have consistently revealed. Americans support sane, legal immigration, not the travesty of what we have now. Unless forced child labor, fueled by the open border, is now part of the Democrat platform.
The Labor Department just found over 100 children working for slaughterhouses, cleaning slaughterhouses in the middle of the night. This problem of migrant children, particularly those from Guatemala, working inside U.S. meatpacking is really pervasive. And it's something that's now caught the attention of federal investigators as they try to really weed out what employers might be taking advantage of and how these children end up here in the first place.
Congratulations to the Biden administration. You must be so proud. In fact, you are proud. Again, these are the inconvenient, actual facts that Democrats cannot defend against because the conditions that they've created are indefensible. So all they're left with is obsessing about the latest phrasing Trump uses on the trail.
You know, when they let, I think the real number is 15, 16 million people into our country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done.
The intellectual movement has begun to burgeon on the far right. It's a movement that seeks to replace American democracy.
Remember in 1939 in Madison Square Garden, there's an extraordinary Nazi rally. So part of what Trump has done, he's tapped into a long-standing illiberal tradition in the United States, and he's exploiting it.
People say, well, did Donald Trump even read Hitler? Many of the recipients of his messages may not have read Hitler, but these things are tried and true.
He's using a phrase that immigrants are poisoning the blood of a country, and he's married to an immigrant.
Okay, I just flipped on MSNBC for 5 or 10 minutes, and that's what I saw today. No joke. Now, this is a good time to remind people that Claire McCaskill was actually a United States senator. He married a migrant. Yeah, that's what Donald Trump's talking about. All right, the disastrous effects of illegal immigration, they're all around us. Democrats can't justify any of it. All they can do is blather on about Trump's Hitler, or if Trump wins, he's never going to hold another election. It's all just absurd. None of it's persuasive. None of it's working. Again, politicians may lie, but numbers do not. Trump is leading in every major poll by margins once thought impossible. He's up by 4 nationally in the latest Fox poll, and the new Monmouth University poll, Biden's approval ratings at a dismal 34%. That's another new low in that survey. Meanwhile, 54% of Democrats want another choice altogether. 54%. And proving again what a petty, oblivious man Biden is, he's reportedly blaming not himself, not his policies for these nightmarish numbers, but his campaign staff. Now, after he pardoned the Thanksgiving turkeys, he acted like one himself, because according to the Washington Post, at a meeting with campaign staff, Biden delivered some stern words for the small group assembled. His poll numbers were unacceptably low, and he wanted to know what his team and his campaign were going to do about it. Now, the man still demands to know why his Bidenomics speeches aren't resonating, because he complained that his economic message had done little to move the ball, even as the economy was growing and unemployment was falling. Well, these anonymous sources told the Washington Post that in the head-to-head polling against Trump, the Bidens have grown upset that they're not making more progress. How Talk about out of touch. He apparently doesn't remember the line that you can't put lipstick on a pig. That's actually a line, Joe. Well, because we're in a giving mood, it's the season here at The Angle, we're going to give Joe and Jill, his entire cabinet, a handy list that explains why voters are fleeing. First, real wages are down since he took office, and the cost of living obscenely high for most voters. Of course, his foreign policy, it's in a complete shambles, beginning with the Afghanistan withdrawal and now the impending embarrassment of Ukraine. Our so-called allies, we learn in Europe, have been freeloading and aren't kicking in any more money, which means they don't really believe that Putin's an existential threat. More U.S. money will only lead, at this point, we all know, to more death and more destruction. And voters are also recoiling in seeing Biden's wokeified military, which now has a catastrophic collapse in recruiting. Now, this is shocking to no one except Joe, Jill, and maybe Secretary Austin. Of course, and again, Biden's open border has affected every part of our country, and the cities we know now are imploding. This is 100% purposeful. And Democrats do not see that our citizens actually may be enraged to hear that ungrateful migrants are complaining about the free food they get when their own families are struggling to make ends meet. All right, and if that's not enough to turn off voters, well, they see the sewer that Democrats have created on the cultural front. The trans madness and the BLM-style focus in schools, gay sex in the Senate, DEI, and so much anti-Semitism that they're now calling it the poison Ivy League. And if one thing is for clear, Biden will not change course on any of this, on any major issue, which means no bargain on the border is worth the paper it's written on. Forget it. And in their effort to beat Trump, Democrats do seem dedicated to two things. Number one, putting him in prison, and number two, relentlessly attacking his supporters.
You see the extremism of American politics right now. You see the radicalization of so many of Donald Trump's supporters. They're fine with imprisoning journalists they disagree with.
So much for trying to win people over, right? Yet even with all this, the plutocrats are going all in for Biden. He's outraising Republicans with gobs of money coming from the fat cats in Silicon Valley and, of course, in Hollywood, Wall Street, etc. And then when Obama came out and he said that Biden could actually lose next year, well, that is a signal to his billionaire friends. It's time to pony up, boys and girls. But even before Obama's warning, Biden was way ahead of Republicans on the fundraising front. Plus, before Republicans were at all giddy about this, Democrats do know how to turn out the vote. And they know how to stay on message. Well, I know what you're saying, but what message? Well, so far, it's not landing with people who see with their own eyes what this team of radicals has delivered. And man, it is an ugly sight. Now, the Beatles sang, "Can't Buy Me Love." And Republicans better hope Biden can't buy votes either. And that's The Angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.